And I wonder for you, what techniques could you share about how you learnt to rewire your brain from being negative to one that is more positive?
Well, first, I want to share why this is so important and why this matters. I wrote about this in The One Truth, one of my newest books, and the brain is an antenna. Not like an antenna, it actually is an antenna. 86 billion neurons in your brain. Every neuron has a transmitter and receiver. And so you are tuning into two major frequencies, positive and negative. And it's why everything in this world ultimately comes down to positive and negative in the world. It's a battle between light and dark, positive and negative. That's the narrative of the universe. That's the ultimate story being played out. And you're going to have to overcome negativity with positivity to create your future, to be who you're meant to be, to uplift your mind and your soul, to take on the challenges, to take on the adversity, to take on the battles. And when you do, you win the battle, you become someone who can actually impact others and change lives. And so I really believe we're all a hero on this epic story, and we're playing a role in this epic movie called life. And you have to learn how to battle the negativity with positivity. And again, this is why it's so important, because a lot of people have negative thoughts and fear and worry, anxiety and doubt. And a lot of times they blame themselves for those thoughts. But do those negative thoughts come from you? And if you say yes, here's the next question. Who would ever choose to have a negative thought? Would you ever choose to have a negative thought? No, you wouldn't. So the negative thoughts are always coming in. And the key is to get to that higher frequency so you can tune into the positive thoughts instead of the negative thoughts. It's like turning on the light in a dark room. The darkness dissolves. So we got to turn on the light in our life and allow the negativity to dissolve. And also realize that negativity has no power over us, because you're not the thoughts you think. Those negative thoughts are going to come in. You're the thoughts you believe. So, what thoughts are you believing to be true? And this is life changing once you begin to understand this and you see the brain as an antenna. That's why if you tune into negative thoughts, they start to affect your brain and your mind and your soul. And then what happens is you get more and more negative thoughts because your brain is now operating at a lower frequency, and you begin to tune into more and more negative thoughts. The more you tune into positive thoughts and that higher level frequency, you actually start to tune into that more and more, and you get an upward cycle. On the negative side, you get a downward cycle. The root for the Greek word of anxious means to separate and divide. So when you're anxious, you actually feel separate and divided. What does fear do? Divides. What do negative thoughts do? Divide. They make us feel weak and powerless. What do positive thoughts do? Unite, connect, uplift. So you can see, do I want oneness and connection, or division and disconnection? Do I want anxiety or peace and wholeness? Read The One Truth. It's a game changer, and it will literally help you understand how thoughts work and how our mind works at a whole other level. And so that's why it matters. So, what are some things you can do to be practical then to get to that higher state of mind? Well, you said it earlier, you meditate. Prayer is the ultimate way to get to that higher state of mind. Prayer connects you to your creator. And guess what? You were created for connection. You feel anxious because you actually feel disconnected and separate from yourself, from others, and spiritually. Okay? I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about connection to a creator. And I got to tell you, you're not here by accident, and neither am I. Look at your brain. Look at your eyeballs. Look at the way you see the world and hear, the auditory nerve and the optic nerve. Your trillions of cells that somehow work to create life. Does it all happen by accident? Did you flip a switch this morning to turn yourself on? No, somehow it all just works energetically and amazingly. We're actually energy beings more than anything, which should tell you we're not an accident, because we're literally an energetic being with chakras and light. We're more light beings than physical beings, if you really understand that. So once you realize that, then you literally could see how, tuning into the positive is so important, and why prayer is essential. Meditation removes a lot of the clutter that lowers your state of mind. Whereas when you don't have a lot of thought, that gets you to a higher frequency and a higher state of mind. So thought And a lot of thought actually lowers your state. So that's important to understand. Meditation, same thing. So those are great. And a gratitude walk is my favorite thing that I've done over the years. I started walking and practicing gratitude, saying what I was thankful for. And the research shows you can't be stressed and thankful at the same time. So every day I would go walk and I would say what I was thankful for. And what was I doing? Well, I didn't know it then, but I know it now. I was tuning into the positive instead of the negative. I was feeling blessed instead of stressed. I was creating a fertile mind that was ready for great things to happen. I was flooding my brain and body with positive emotions that uplifted me instead of those stress hormones that slowly drained me. And nurturing that brain, nurturing that antenna, getting myself to a higher state of mind and frequency. Changed my life, that gratitude walk. I also love the idea of having a success journal and go to bed every night writing down your success. So before you sleep, you write down the one great thing that happened that day. And as you do this day in and day out, you begin to focus on your successes instead of your failures. So you go to bed every night a success. You wake up in the morning a success. And now you're ready to create more and more success during the day. What we focus on shows up more in our lives. What we look for, we find. If you don't believe me, look for blue cars on the road today. You will start seeing more blue cars. The brain is an antenna. You'll focus on it, you'll see more of it. And this is the power of success. So you create a positive loop. And then I'll just share one more. My best strategy is to talk to yourself instead of listening to yourself. And that didn't come from me. That came from Dr. James Gills. He's the only person on the planet to complete 6 double Ironman triathlons. Do you know what an Ironman consists of?
You can tell
Riding
us. I
your
think
bike
I know.
for
Yeah.
yeah, riding your bike for 112 miles. You swim for 2.4 and you run a marathon. And then the next day you do it again for a double Ironman. And Dr. James Gills did this 6 times, and the last time he did it, 59 years old. And so he was asked how he did it. He said, I've learned to talk to myself instead of listen to myself. He said, if I listen, I hear all the fear, the negativity, the doubt, all the reasons why I can't finish this race. But if I talk to myself, I can feed myself with the words and the encouragement that I need to keep on moving forward. And just really great advice. Talk to yourself. Don't listen. Don't believe the lies. Don't listen to those negative thoughts. Speak life, speak words of encouragement, and watch how that uplifts you and gets you tuned into that positive, higher frequency.
I love that. Those are such great tips.